welcome to my channel. My name is Pamela and this is Teacher Pamela Plans, where we do everything from teaching ideas to crafting to planning and dreaming, aka goal making, and so much more. Alright, so today, as you can see, we are doing some goals or dreaming for the year. I'm going to do a whole series on this. We're going to start with reflections from 2023. Now, this doesn't probably look like, if you look at other Makselife reflections, you won't see this because this is the 2022 year-end reflection book. And this is the 2023 Makselife companion notebooks. So I didn't start Makselife until 2023, but with that purchase, I received this 2022 year-end reflections. It was kind of hard for me to do that due to the fact that this was my first year of doing Makselife, so I couldn't really reflect using this same, I could have used some of the questions, but I couldn't use this same exact format, so I just kind of saved this for later. So now that 2023 is pretty much over, we're almost there, we're going to start with the reflections of 2023. But nothing really has changed as far as this goes, so you can find these on the Makselife, I believe, on their website, and I'm going to show you the questions here as well. So what I ended up doing is placing these questions within my Q4 notebook, because there's a lot of extra notebook space at the end of these companion notebooks, which is really awesome. All right, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to show you is my Q4 assessment. So this was my quarterly assessment for Q4. And what I ended up doing, since I wanted to kind of use this the same way. So if you look at this is why I have this out so you can see. So this is the reflection notebook. And the way they have this part set up is for your year in review, where you're currently at and where you started for that year. Okay? So currently this was at the end of the quarter, or essentially at the end of the quarter, where I'm at right now, where I was at previously, so Q3, and then at the start of 2023 where I was at. And I'm really, really, really glad that I added in where I started and then also where I previously was at, because it's a little disheartening if I just look at Q3 versus Q4. Q4 was a little bit of a struggle for me in general, as you can see. I went the same, went down, 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 a little bit up, and stayed the same. So only one of them increased from Q3 to Q4, and that was finance, and there's a specific reason for that, and I'll let you know what that is when we get kind of into it. And then the rest of them either stayed the same, and most of them actually went down. Okay? Which is kind of a bummer. But on the bright side, if I look at where I started in 2023, I went up in Q4. Even though I went down from Q3, it was still above where I started from. And that to me was like a super big relief. That's in every single area except for spiritual. But I'm not too worried about that. I'm still doing some things, so I feel like I kind of graded myself hard. Now, when I'm going through and recording these grades, I'm going to tell you a little bit about that first, okay? How did I get these numbers? Where do those come from? Well, when you get the companion notebooks or you get a Makselife planner in general, she has some questions that you can follow. It's an assessment scoring. So these were what I got on my original scores, okay? This is my very, very original score from 2023. Now, when I originally scored it, I just put solid numbers. I hadn't really started doing anything different, but the awesome thing is I went back and added all these together, averaged it, and kind of changed my score, because I really like seeing, even if there's the teensiest of difference, I really like seeing that. And you can see that here, right? So 6.75, I usually go to the 100th place. Even here, like you can see, even though like, you know, it's just a little bit of difference, like I feel like that amount, that decimal point just makes you think like, yay, I went up. Even if it was just the teensiest of bits, I improved something. It might be a little over the top for some people, and that's fine. You can do the 1 to 10 and keep it a solid number. But I feel like for me, any sort of amount of improvement that I can see changes my mindset a little bit about how I did. Now, I'm going to record it on here. The way that I'm doing it is I'm going to put what my current is just by highlighting it. Then I'm going to put a line where I was in Q3. And then I'm going to put these like little dots where I started. Okay, so that's all of them. Sorry, some of them bled, so you can't totally see everything, but you can see the little dots. Overall, my score is increased. So I click that. What personal actions contributed the most to these results? Being aware. I think having this really helped me to increase those areas. Creating a budget, that's the big thing as far as why that increased. Was that very, very recently we created a monthly budget, creating positive habits. So that's in the area of health, where I need more of those. Stuck to cleaning, okay, and decluttering, mostly decluttering. I did organize some things, my crafting space, specifically, as well as kitchen a little bit, and took some time organizing the kids' rooms, throwing some things away, throwing away some of the toys in the basement. Still got a long way to go. I feel like that's just a constant, but getting there. Just making little small changes along the way. I think when you go for these drastic changes, it doesn't work. And there are some things where I think I started out way too fast, and then I felt like I should already be doing this, and I wasn't, and why is that not working? So that's one of the things that I really want to change for 2024, is just taking it really small as far as like, okay, this week I'm going to just do one extra whatever. And then planning time for these goals, right? So that really worked really well for my Makselife. I use a calendar, the calendar that's in there. So like you can see here, if there was a week where I said how many chapters I was going to read, just cutting things down that I used for my weeklies and putting that on the calendar, asking myself, how am I going to fit those things in? Okay, that really helped me. 3 words to describe how I generally felt over the last 90 days. I've had some stress, some anxiety, but I felt happy. But there's been some negative self-talk, and I'll talk more about that because I don't really negative self-talk, but I do it in a different way. All right, so here's the biggest opportunity for growth. Definitely, I want to work on my health and wellness. I've talked about financial. We're doing, like, it's increasing, but I think the biggest thing as far as financial is just debt, like lessening that amount, and then physical environment, still continuing to organize, things like that. I didn't put personal on here. I do want to also grow my personal. I'm having a hard time with my evening routines and adjusting that and figuring that out. So we'll get into that a little bit when I get more into the questions. Okay, so in these year-end reflections, the next thing that you talk about in here is your wins and your highlights. Now, the way that I did this is I really like doing this because, as you can see, I color-coded what each of these things were to kind of visualize it even better. Okay, so you'll see that here. So my wins, I put what category those wins are coming from. And then my highlights, I did the same. Now, highlights are a little bit different because what are my highlights? Well, those are going to be the fun things, right? That you remember, the family time, those kinds of things. All right, so as far as wins, what were my wins in 2023 and what accomplishments did I have? So focusing more on gratitude, that was in the personal area, also in personal, I became a stronger person, and I'm able to take on a lot emotional. There was a lot of challenges that I'll get to that caused that to be a difficult area for me. But I got through it. And the next area of life is fun. I didn't put anything as far as wins here, and it's funny that I didn't because that was my biggest growth area. But if I were to say it now, I would say, just spending that time, making that time for my friends and for having fun. As far as the next area of life is work and learning. So in that area, my wins were consistent students in class. I increased my YouTube subscribers. I really just started, and created creative lessons. And then I also helped, and I consider this part of my work and learning because I am a stay-at-home mom who works online teaching as well. But a lot of what my work consists of is helping my children with their education. And so I always put this in the work and learning area, which my son Jackson, he increased his keyboarding skills, and I got my son Phoenix ready for kindergarten. So those were big wins for me. And then as far as family, so I kind of separate this out. I was more present in activities with my family and friends, better communication. I'm keeping this one out just because it's more personal. And then I had, for the area of health, not a whole lot. I want more in this area, but my wins were getting better sleep. And I started to have a consistent gym routine. I've gotten off the wagon a little bit in that area, just a little bit. Holidays are kind of crazy, but overall, I started just going to the gym as soon as I drop my kids off at school so that I'm on the way, ready to go. And that's been helping. Then for spiritual, I've been consistently going to my Bible study, church. I should have put church on there too. And I started daily scripture. And I'm not perfect at it. I'm not anywhere near where I want to be, but I started doing it. And then for, of course, finance, I told you I created a family budget. So that's my big one there. And then for the area of personal environment, I got rid of some clutter. So those are my wins for 2023. And then highlights, I kind of thought of more of like, what do I remember about it? And so then that's why this is more of family and fun. My trip to Austin and my summer fun days. And summer fun days just meant that with the kids are home for the summer, and we kind of did different activities depending on the day, like, Make It Monday and Water Wednesday, things like that. That was a lot of fun. I could have put that in the family area too, but I put it in fun. And then I also started a YouTube channel. So that's, of course, in my work and learning area. And then I have my areas for family that were awesome. I enjoyed time with Phoenix being still home before he went to kindergarten. So in the beginning of 2023, I still got that time with him, and I tried to soak that all in because I knew he was headed to kindergarten. I wasn't going to get that time, and time is precious. Then I also took boys to places locally. We just did lots of activities and things, and I just love that. That is one of the things about being home that I really love, that I get the opportunity to do. And then the boys were also involved in different activities. Jackson was in baseball, Phoenix was in gymnastics, and then we got to take a family trip camping, which was a lot of fun. And just all those little activities that we get to do as a family, just like carving pumpkins and decorating the Christmas tree and all those kinds of things that even here at home, family game night, family movie nights, just those kinds of things. All right, then we get to the challenges this year. So as you can see, I put hearts on the wins and the highlights, and then the challenges, I just highlighted it. Okay, but I still kept it categorically. And the thing that I really like about this is that I really did these two parts together. So it asks you about your challenges. Same thing is in here, by the way, too. So we have the wins and the highlights on this page, and then we have the challenges and then the lessons. And I really like that these pages are right next to each other. So I did the same here because I feel like, okay, you had a challenge. Now what's the lesson that you learned from it? I love that. Okay, so one of my challenges, and I don't know that I overcame it because a lot of these I'm still struggling, but at least I'm aware, right? Okay, so loneliness. That's really hard for me. I don't like being alone. That's one of my things. One of the questions I think in the beginning on personal is, are you comfortable being alone or something like that? And my answer is always like, nope, I hate it. There are times where I like it, but that's also been an adjustment for me because now I'm home while the kids are at school and there's a lot of alone time for me. And some people just embrace that and love that, but for me, it's a little challenging. So what did I do? Well, it's in my own hands to control that. I'm going to the gym in the morning, like having more activities where I can meet people and talk to people. So that's helping. Then I also have some stress and anxiety, which I talked about before. And what helps me most with that is using productive self-care. So what I mean by productive is sometimes it's good to veg in front of the TV, but that's not really going to get me out of an anxiety-ridden situation usually. I need to journal, I need to take a bath, I need to take care of myself, I need to meditate, things like that. So that's what I mean by productive self-care. And then I said, I missed out on vacation. My husband and I missed out on a vacation that we want to take together, and for financial reasons and just losses, which I'll get to in a minute. And so, that was a bummer, but we can reschedule it and letting go of that. Next up is the area of work and learning. I had slow class increases. Things are progressing, but it's slow. And so I have consistency, but it's not as much as I would like it to be. But I'm trying to focus on the fact that I'm still having progress and that I enjoy the process, right? I'm passionate about what I do. I'm so fortunate and grateful that I get to stay home, help my kids with their learning, help other kids with their learning. It's my passion. So focusing on the fact that, even if I have one student, if I can help that one student, that's what matters. Okay, so then the next thing, unfortunately, is as far as relationships, I had 3 deaths in the family in 2 months, and it was torture. It was a really, really, really difficult time for my husband and I, and just the family in general. So it was really, really rough. And so what did I learn from that? Well, obviously keeping loved ones closer. The awesome thing about it also that happened was that, I put reunited, but I haven't been as close to my brothers and my other family members as much as I would like to be. And this kind of opened my eyes to that a little bit and how life is short and it's not worth it. I want to reach out. I want to have relationships with them and spend time with them. So, and then here I was having some health issues as well. The beginning of 2023, especially, I was having shoulder and hip trouble because I have been diagnosed with hypermobility. And so I'm in constant pain for the most part. It's very, very mild pain. So, it is chronic, but it's very mild pain. So it's hard for me because I'm like, it's not as bad as some people have it. But at the same time, I get frustrated because I feel like I'm not old enough to have constant pain. So it's a challenge. And what have I learned about it? Well, I need to move more. I need to better my nutrition drastically. And I have been moving more, but my nutrition is still not even close to where it needs to be. Another thing about health, what was my challenge? I was just exhausted. I was having a hard time with sleep, and I have for multiple years. But what did I do about it? I actually fixed something, and that was I changed my schedule so that I could increase my amount of sleep. I was working to teach online early in the morning, and it was throwing off my sleep schedule massively. And now I get like a full night's sleep. I just need it. I am one of those people, and naps don't totally get me there. I was kind of making up for that while I was teaching so early in the morning, even prior to the past year. And it's catching up to me. I can't do it anymore. And then the next thing was debt. So what did I do about that? I talked about it. We created a budget. We're going to be doing some new things with that. And then also clutter. I just a lot of just stuff. I had a lot of baby stuff still. And part of that was just because I was deciding what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I was going to do in 2023 when Phoenix ended up going to school. I wasn't sure. And I went kind of back and forth between, am I going to take kids into my home? I used to do that where I did a child daycare where I taught them within my home. And I was debating whether I wanted to do that or not. But I kind of decided against it simply because it takes up a lot of my time. And then it takes up time that I miss with my kids. Then therefore I needed to get rid of some stuff. So I got rid of some stuff, donated, and then I also got to organize my crafting area. It's not where I want it to be yet, but it's a lot better. I bought some cubbies and I just changed up what my area looks like, and I'm loving it so much. So I should do maybe a video on that at some point. Okay, so the next section is talking about your growth then. So everything is the same here. Growth and then gratitude. So how have I changed and how have I grown from a year ago? I've become stronger as a person. Like I said, it was very difficult dealing with some losses this year and just being able to deal with that appropriately. I had to do what was best for me in those scenarios. You know, people were saying how sad they were, and that's okay. But for me, it was too much all at once, and I was having a hard time on social media and things like that. And so I had to get off of those groups for a little bit, just because for me, it was so depressing. And I have a history of depression where I kind of got into a hole. And my biggest fear is to get back in that hole. And I felt like continuously being in this, oh, it's so sad, and all of that was just not good for me. And it wasn't that I wasn't mourning. I just had to mourn in my own way. And with that, I had to be understanding that people are going to do that differently than I am. And then for me, I had to do what was best for me at the same time. So that's where I feel like I've become stronger and been who I want to be, and not try to do this people pleaser thing, which is what I've been. And it's more so being my best me. Learning how to communicate better also on top of that. Communicating with others just what I need and what I want, and how to do that without like flipping out or pushing it down or resenting them and or resenting whomever in the process because I didn't communicate my needs or wants. And then letting it go also, as far as that is concerned, if, you know, they have different ideas. Able to see other people's perspectives. That's a big one for me. I used to not be able to see other people's perspectives. And it can change how you see things. You know, when you see, oh, they look at it differently because their experience is different. To be able to do that is huge. And it makes you more understanding and forgiving if you're able to do that. Improving anxiety by getting out more. And, you know, being with friends now that COVID is still around, but it's not as prevalent, and we've got it under control for the most part at this point. So being able to get out and do my productive self-care like I talked about before, that's really helping. My sleep and rest, changing that schedule, accepting the fact that I need rest without guilt. And then accepting, I'm still not totally here on this last one, but I'm working on it currently. I have some medication, birth control, and I'm on it because I have extensive flow, but it's also like I get migraines just from it. So I'm on it continuously, but I've also realized too, like my doctor had told me like I might have, I can't even remember what she calls it, but basically a condition of where you have drastic emotions, and your hormones kind of cause that. So I have to stabilize my hormones. And I've noticed when I've missed a pill, how it affects me pretty drastically. I'm extremely emotional. That's when I get major anxiety and things like that. I am just someone that I don't like medication. I respect people. I understand that people need medication to function, and I don't discount that in any way. It's just me. I'm a big control freak. And like, I don't like that this medication has control over me. And so I've had to learn, as far as control, to let go of a lot of things. And I've learned in the past couple of years that. I didn't write it down because that was more of my growth in 2022. But this has, kind of helped me accept that, like, I need this. Regardless, it's not controlling me. It's helping me to be in control. And that's how I have to look at it. Gratitude. What I'm most grateful for in 2023. Being able to stay home and work from home. Like I said, working with my kids and helping them and just doing all the activities with them. I love it. Hey, extended family time. So growing closer to my family, like I'd mentioned before. Fun family activities, the little moments. Loving that we got to have lots of that. Amazing supportive friends. I love my friend group. Fun times with my book club that I'm in. Parties, vacation. Hack is like a monthly subscription for How to Catch a Killer. And I love it. It's fun. It's a mystery box. And then crafting. And then also my space to craft and work in. So I'm really super grateful that I was able to organize that. Hanging out at my mom's house. It's my second home. My health, even though I've had some of this hypermobility stuff, I can still move. I am a super healthy person when it comes to the stats. My doctor looked at my blood work and everything was grand, so. And my faith, I'm super grateful that I have something to believe in when those times get really rough. All right. What is working? What I really like about this too is what is working and what is not working. So I have those two things on the same pages. But then this one says impact, which is kind of great and separate, but I kind of did adjustments and what is not working together. So we'll get to that in a minute. Let's start with what is working. What things are currently working well in my life? I'm using Routinery for morning routine. That's an app that I use. I really like that. My morning routines work pretty well. There's moments where it's not perfect, right? Things happen. Schedules change, but overall that keeps me on track. And then experiencing fun activities with friends. And then for work and learning, my boys are learning. We've got a good homework routine. When they come home, they know exactly what to do. It's great. As far as family stuff, family activities together are working really well, bettering family relationships, having more times with my brothers and things like that. Then as far as my worship, whatever, spiritual, that's it. The spiritual, attending church, my Bible study. That's what this is Wesley Covenant Group, which is a Bible study for Methodists. And then I have in health, getting to the gym, making sleep a priority. Those things are really working for me right now. I need to add to it 100%. And then, of course, creating a budget, like I said, in financial. And then having a grocery list as well as a weekly menu is helping me because within the budget, so we're not eating out. We have prepared for those quick things that if we need a quick fix, we have things in the freezer we can go to. And then decluttering. So that's been working as well. All right, what's not working? These are the things that are currently not working. So I'm going to go from here to the adjustments. Evening routine. I'm not doing well with it. So what am I going to do for 2024? Oops. And I wrote that down. What adjustments do I want to make in my life in 2024, that should say? I want to create an evening routine that works. Blessing planning. That's been taking too long. But for next year, 2024, all I have to do really is tweak some things. I have some plans in general in place. And then consistent videos as well. I want to record more videos on time, have them up on the channel. I'm going to use my planner for ideas, plan time to record and edit. And then all of these areas are my family areas or relationships. So I want to have more playtime with the boys. Of course, I got to make time for that, playing time. More time with my husband. I've got to make time for that. Have ideas for activities to do. Reach out to friends. Of course, I need to do that by calling them, contacting them regularly. I mean, those are pretty kind of obvious and easy as to what I need to do. I just need to do it. Nutrition and tracking. So I got to change my nutrition. It's just not going well. I need to plan healthy meals. I need to track. I need to plan if I'm going to have, an enjoyment day, splurging, and I need to change my mindset. And I'm going to be using the Weight Watchers app for those things for now. But I'm going to make some adjustments because some things in there are not working specifically for me. It doesn't make sense to me. Some of the equivalents, like, a piece of cheese is the same amount of points as a candy bar, a fun-sized candy bar. And that to me, like, which one are you going to choose probably? And which one's the better choice? They're not kind of mentally making you choose the better choice by doing that. I feel like fats need to be within reason, but I also feel like they're necessary and they're good for you. And they fill you up. Okay, so then we also have More Aware for See You Able. See You Able is the nonprofit that I volunteer for. I am the treasurer, and it is all about creating resources for those in the disabled community. So for parents, basically, like giving them resources and being a resource as well. And so I need to be checking our weekly chat, and I need to reconcile things on a regular basis, get that more consistent. And then, of course, my cleaning routine. I have decluttered some things, but I need to make sure that my cleaning routine, I have a specific time that I am doing this cleaning, because that's not happening right now. I'm usually just like, oh, I'm so tired, So that's my adjustments for that. Then I also have my impact. How do I want people to experience me? I want them to see me as patient, a good listener, a good communicator, loving, fun, bubbly, supportive, helpful, growing and developing, nourishing many interests. That's how I want people to see me. And then in what ways do I want to create an impact? I kind of love these because this kind of creates you towards what is it that you really are wanting to be. And those are your most important things, right? I want people to see me as showing an interest in others. I want to listen. I want to reach out. I want to put people first over things. I also, in order to do that, need to have better self-care. So I need to take care of myself and be adventurous. I need to live by example. And I want to inspire passion. I want to show people like my love for learning and teaching and things like that, and planning and all my loves, and be able to share that with other people. Okay, reflections. 3 words to describe 2023. Strength, joy, and painful. And then 3 words to describe how I felt. I kind of got lost in that because I was like, okay, 3 words to describe it, and then 3 words how I felt. I kind of did both as far as how I felt, because I didn't read the second one before I got there. But very grateful. I feel loved, and I felt mournful of those losses that I experienced, which went along with the pain. 3 words to describe how I want to feel in 2024. I want to feel healthy. I'm still struggling with my choices in nutrition, and I need to fix that. I want to feel passionate about what I do and share that with others. And I want to feel accomplished in, my work and with my kids and, just in my areas of life. What am I most excited for? I'm excited for a new start. I love starting. It just feels all good to get in a new planner, which is the kind of part of the planning thing, and just starting anew, all the new things. I'm excited for new memories. I'm also going to show you my planner stack for 2024, and one of those is going to be a memory keeper. So I'm excited for that. And I'm excited for my YouTube channel and OutSchool, continuing with OutSchool. And what areas of life will my focus be? And I kind of already wrote that in the other one. I'm looking at health, physical environment, finance, and personal. And then what am I going to say no to? I'm going to say no to guilt for resting. It's important to take breaks. It's important to take a rest. It's important to just say, you know what? I'm going to do nothing today, and that's okay. Perfection. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. I'm not going to be able to get in my planner and plan every day. It's just never going to happen. So letting go of that and being, accepting of that myself, and then actually showing you guys, hey, it's okay. I didn't do anything this day. It's blank. Oh, well, that's life, right? And then my people-pleasing ways, doing things to please other people and with detriment to myself. That's a big problem for me. And creating negative self-talk. I don't negative self-talk in the way of saying, oh, Pamela, you're so stupid, or anything like that. What I end up doing is I am somebody that kind of puts it on other people. So I deflect my negative self-talk. And I'll say, I bet this person is thinking blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is about me. Oh, this person probably thinks that I'm an idiot, where I put it on somebody else. And then that way it's that person's fault, right? Like, that person is doing that to me. That person is thinking that, And I can't control other people's thinking. So even if that is true, what am I going to do about someone else's thinking? I can't. And that's where that people pleasing also comes in as a difficult thing for me, because then I'm in this panic. Oh, this person doesn't like me because they think XYZ. I don't even know if that's what they're thinking. But these are the kind of crazy things that I go through that I'm working on. All right. So what am I going to say yes to in 2024? I'm going to say yes to standards. I do not like the word boundaries. I hate that word. I don't know what it is about that word. I just don't like it. So I like the word standards instead. I have standards for myself more than anything. It's more about my standards for myself and what I expect for me. And then listening to my body. I need to do that. I need to say yes to nutrition, say yes to planning ahead, and say yes to productive self-care, like we talked about earlier. And then I also need to be present and, of course, crafting. Loving my crafting. And I'm missing some of that. What am I going to stop apologizing for? I'm going to stop apologizing for how I feel. If I feel a certain way, if I'm emotional, I am. And what I think. I'm going to stop apologizing for the standards that I have. That's what I need. Prioritizing self-care as well. And so putting myself first, obviously. Who is going to be my support? My hubby, my friends, my family, my pets, my planner is going to help me with all that stuff too. I didn't even put, it said what or who. And I didn't think about that, but I should put my planner. And then the last thing I did was I wrote a letter to myself. What it said in here for the letter part is a letter to me. Write a letter to yourself. 2024. Use this as an opportunity to remind yourself of what you're working towards and why. To give yourself words of encouragement or to channel a message from your future self. Have fun and be kind to yourself. So I actually did it from a future standpoint because I think that works really well to kind of manifest. Wow, 2024 was amazing. You've grown so much. It took you time and was one thing at a time. It wasn't perfect by any means, but you were able to let go of perfection and let go of what you couldn't control. You progressed so much in your health and wellness area of life. You have a way more positive self-image, and you've progressed by usually making healthy eating choices with some fun splurges. You've learned how to balance it. You're doing great. Your shoulder is doing great, and you've taken pressure off your hips. You also did a 10K. I do have plans for a 10K in 2024, so it was amazing. Budgeting helped you plan expenses and take a huge chunk out of debt. Way to go. You finally found an evening routine that works for you. You're enjoying your physical space even more after getting rid of more clutter. You had a great time with friends and made amazing deep connections. You were patient with the boys and had great memories that you will cherish. You grew in faith and consistency. You laughed, made self-care a priority, and chose happiness. What a great year. I just love it, like, because it's so positive and, like, already, like, looking back, and I don't know, it gives me the feels. And I might even put that somewhere because I think that would be kind of cool, this letter, to put it somewhere like in my goals for next year. And you can tear these out. So that might be kind of cool to put it somewhere that I can see, or rewrite it and put it somewhere that I can see on a regular basis. So those are my reflections for 2023. And then we are going to move on in our goal series next time to the companion notebook. And we're going to talk a little bit about that next time. So we'll do the compass and word of the year and those kinds of things in the next video. We'll see you there. And in the meantime, like and subscribe. Don't forget to do that, as well as keep dreaming. Bye-bye.